I almost didn't release a video this week because I didn't want to. Even now, I'm looking at this script and regretting putting it in the video. But I'm creating and uploading it anyway because I have a goal and I have consistent deadlines that need to be met in order to achieve that goal. You can't seize the life that you want to live while simultaneously refusing to take the necessary steps required to achieve it, and lacking consistency will only slow or halt your progress. The reason I don't want to release this video is because of one of my biggest problems, and I acknowledge it, is consistently striving for perfection. I spent 6 hours of my Saturday trying to write a script, which was originally going to be 2 long-form essays on the philosophies of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Gurren Lagann, but after 6 hours of writing, I could only pump out a whopping 1.5 pages. For reference, these videos take roughly 7 to 8 pages. I deleted all of it because no matter what I put on paper, I was becoming increasingly hypercritical of my own work. After 6 hours, I had nothing. It's ironic that striving for perfection is the one path that will lead you farthest away from it. The fear of making mistakes or manifesting something that doesn't meet your expectations will always result in you making more mistakes and never producing something that lives up to the fantasy in your head. You learn more from your failures than you do your successes, so a fear of doing something is a good sign that you should probably do it. I could have sat around all day waiting for my muse to finally shine a golden light upon my brain's right hemisphere, but every moment that you wait is another step you take further away from the potential success you deserve. If I keep moving forward, I can possibly make a couple hundred perfect videos. But if you take a look at the view count on my other videos, you'll notice that I need to get through quite a few more shitty ones before that next banger drops. So my only options are to either put out all these bad videos that sit in front of me and eventually get one step closer to a monetized YouTube channel, or skip uploads week to week and wait for inspirations to converge with courage as if my video scripts were lottery tickets. And you know what? It doesn't matter if I wrote that metaphor in a way that anyone other than myself will understand it. I'm putting this video out regardless because I need to get better about making mistakes and stop being afraid of creations that don't meet my personal expectations. The first video that I made like this was one that scared me. It felt too vulnerable for the internet, but it ended up becoming one of my most successful videos and forever changed the trajectory of what I was doing, and it also brought me more success than I'd ever seen before. Had I not drummed up the courage to upload that video, I might still be pumping out some pretty lackluster content, still wondering what my next step would be. So if this video flops, then it flops. At the end of the day, I still met my deadline, and I did what I promised myself I would do, which is put out a video. Now, real quick, if you like this weird hybrid card collecting hobbies meets motivational content, then you should check out Brandon Bell over on his channel, Brandon Bell, MMA fighter and strength trainer. And I'm not just randomly plugging some other content creator's YouTube channel. Brandon and his accomplishments are relevant to this discussion and what I'd like everyone to take away from this video. Brandon Bell isn't just some MMA fighter. He is currently ranked within the top 100 fighters in the United States, and at the time of writing this video, he is ranked #1 in the state of Kentucky. To be in the top 100 of anything is an amazing accomplishment, let alone #1. I haven't confirmed this with Brandon myself, but I'm confident he will agree that no one could ever make it to a #1 spot in the MMA rankings if they were so afraid to lose a fight they refused to step into the octagon. Any fighter who refuses to fight unless they feel confident will probably meet the same fate as any YouTuber who refuses to put out a video because they're afraid that their video will suck. Mediocrity. Which is kind of just as ironic as the perfection point I made earlier, isn't it? In order to get away from mediocrity, you have to first accept that it will likely happen. You can take all the steps necessary to avoid failure and lackluster results, but the unfortunate truth is that you can't win all of the time, but also not winning all of the time is kind of one of the things you need to do in order to continue winning. It's weird, man. Professional personal development is weird like that. One of my favorite quotes is that a knight in shining armor has never truly had his mettle tested. Not to overanalyze this quote, but the knight in shining armor only has shining armor because he never tried. He never actually did anything. If he's really off slaying dragons and leading armies and saving damsels in distress, then why isn't he covered in rust and dents and dirt? The idea that anyone accomplishes anything or becomes a person worthy of respect without first having to get dirty is just as ridiculous as every fairy tale where the pompous knight shows up to steal the spotlight. This so-called knight in shining armor is too afraid to actually test himself. He's too afraid to grow. He could never fight Brandon Bell. He'd lose horribly because he's never been in an actual fight. That's why his armor is still shiny. Anyway, think of all the people that you respect the most. For me, one of those people is my wife. She has accomplished so much in her career and takes great strides every day towards bigger successes. But the life she's made for herself sits atop a foundation of missteps and hiccups. Just like every successful person, she has and still makes mistakes. But despite those mistakes, she continues to move forward. I've seen her on her worst days, and no matter how bad those days are, she still wakes up the next and continues to push forward. I've seen her cry over failing her college courses, but she still put in the work and continued to try until she eventually passed and got her degree. I've seen her cry because she messed up at work and questioned whether or not she even wanted to continue to pursue her original goals. And today, she runs a highly successful operation and will soon be teaching younger people how to gain that same success. Nothing that her and I have today would be possible if we weren't both giving 100% every day. And the strength she has to consistently move forward is something that inspired me to find the next step when I was so in debt that I had to indefinitely move back in with my family. Every success that followed her failures was one of the things that led me to where I am today. Unlike the knight in shining armor, my wife could probably fight Brandon Bell. Her resilience is one that inspires me. And much like her, the successful people that you respect have all failed forward into their positions that they are in today. No one gets anywhere by constantly succeeding, because no one can experience a great success without the lessons and wisdom that can only be found in adversity and struggles. Goku once said that strength does not come from desire. It comes from need, and you need to create that need. When I hear this quote, my interpretation is that you need to force yourself outside of your comfort zone. Growth never happens inside of a rut that you dug through routine. You'll always gain new strength, knowledge, and new sets of skills faster in the situations where you are forced to adapt. Whether it be trying for a promotion at work, putting another 10 pounds on the bar, or shooting your shot with your crush, those places where you feel less likely to succeed are the areas you should be spending the most amount of time in, regardless of whether or not the resulting outcome of your attempts are the ones that you were striving for. If you don't get promoted at work, you will know why. If your crush shoots you down, you'll be able to move on and move forward. And if you have to bail out of that last set because your muscles weren't strong enough, well, your body will eventually adapt on its own. To me, that's always been one of the coolest things about human nature. Saitama once said that the reason human beings are so strong is because we possess the power to change ourselves. In the previous examples of disappointment and defeat, you'll always have a better idea of what changes need to be made before your second attempt. And if you don't, that's okay, because you can just try again and eventually change and grow more. A new crush, a new promotion, a couple new assistance exercises to help grow your muscles. No matter the failure, your focus should never really be on the disappointing results themselves, but instead what you can do and what you have the power to change. Rather than focusing on the things you can't control, you should instead focus on the things that you can. So, if this video sucks and doesn't get any views, I can still create more videos. I create videos that are different. I can create videos with different trading card games. I could even create the same videos but in different ways that I haven't tried yet. Think of it like this. If this video doesn't get enough views, it's probably because I created a video that wouldn't get more. So I should make a new video. The videos I create are something I have control over. And so making new ones will eventually lead me to the videos or the content that I'm trying to create, which are the ones that will get the view count that I want. A higher view count tomorrow than what I got yesterday. If your crush shot you down, it's probably because that relationship never should have happened in the first place. So you should instead focus on moving away from your romantic interest in that person. You should focus on that because that's what you have control over, not how they feel about you. And I mean, just as a side note, there's 7 billion people on Earth. So like statistically speaking, for every crush that turns you down, there's at least 1,000, maybe 100,000 more people that it would actually work out with. Just like all I have to do is create new videos, all you need to do is create new relationships. If you don't get that promotion, it's probably because the position wasn't a good fit for you, but you have the power to grow into it eventually and seize that opportunity, just like I have to grow into a content creator that can create content for more views. And if you can't lift the weight just because you don't have the body needed to lift it yet, you can just create the body that's required to lift it. And I can create videos that are also required in order to get those higher view counts. But even having the power to adapt is only half the equation. The other half is consistency, because you're most likely going to lose more often than you win. Consistent mediocre results will always allow you to grow more quickly than waiting for perfection, because it's consistent. Every step you take forward is worth it, even if it doesn't fully meet your expectations. Additionally, this consistency comes with the added benefit of practice and an everyday opportunity to sharpen your skill set. In episode 1 of Dragon Ball Super, Goten asks his dad, "Do you really need to keep training?" And Goku says, "Yeah, Majin Buu was ridiculously strong. I never would have been able to beat him on my own, and you never know, one day someone even stronger may show up. That's why I have to keep training, to keep you guys safe." This sentiment that Goku is expressing is a philosophy of preparedness. The idea that if you prepare for a great obstacle, regardless of whether or not you know that it is coming, you will always have the ability to overcome it when it does inevitably confront you. One of the reasons I go to the gym every day is because another great flaw of mine is that I lack discipline. Unlike most people, I'm not going to the gym to get my body to look a certain way or to compete to become an MMA fighter. I'm going because I, personally, need daily practice and discipline. By allowing myself this exercise in a skill I lack or that is more dull than the skills of others, I can finally be prepared once it comes time for me to use that skill. In a moment where my level of discipline becomes the deciding factor between success and failure, I won't have to worry about failing because I've been sharpening this skill every day for the past 7 years. But it's not like I have gone to the gym every single day. In fact, there were many points where I fell off the horse. One time, I took so much as a 3-month break from working out only because I didn't feel like it. This was a huge failure on my part because I was now accomplishing the exact opposite of what I set out to do. I can't practice discipline if I don't, practice discipline. But that failure is one I learned from, as was every time I refused to go to the gym or I made excuses to not go to the gym. In each failure, I was able to identify something different that stopped me from meeting deadlines, properly managing my time, or giving projects and responsibilities the level of attention they deserved. I noticed that I would sometimes procrastinate until it was too late, or that I didn't fully consider how much time a certain task would take before undergoing something, and often I had a nasty habit of rushing things as to get done as quickly as possible, and the end result was a final product that just couldn't live up to any kind of good standards. I never would have found these things out about myself if I hadn't stepped out of my comfort zone, though. When I first started going to the gym, I was severely underweight at only 140 pounds, and I looked like E.T., the extraterrestrial. I had the gangly arms, the pot belly, whole 9 yards. I was scared because, obviously, I had never seen myself as someone who went to the gym, just as many people don't envision themselves as the person required to accomplish their goals. Since putting out these styles of videos, I have had some of you express to me that you, quote, could never be that guy, or that you wish, quote, you were a little better than you are now. This insistence that I wasn't the person who should be going to the gym was the same mindset I expressed when passing up other opportunities in life. I never saw myself as the kind of person who could do the things required to move up or forward. And so I never stepped into those roles or identities because I feared that I wasn't the person who could or should be doing those things. And by stepping out of my comfort zone and finally going to the gym, despite my outlook on myself, I was able to create the need that was required to force growth and adaptation. Setting a goal that I felt was unachievable for any reason is what forced me into a consistent state of practicing, failing, learning, and then eventually accomplishing more and more. These lessons then bled through into my personal and professional life. The lessons learned are ones that I could take with me outside of my experiences at the gym. Additionally, by practicing every day, I can now get better results on my worst days than I would have on my best days years ago, like with these videos. Even my worst video now, this one definitely, is still better than one of my best videos that I would have put out earlier on the YouTube channel. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch one of my old Digimon videos. I tried to do this whole like Max Mofo thing. I don't know why, but I really sucked at it, which I guess is probably a video I could make later on too. Like, never try to be somebody else. Definitely take inspiration. I definitely wouldn't have the channel I have now if I didn't take inspiration from Max Mofo, but never try to be somebody else. In the wise words of Andre 3000, only you can take your seat at cool school. It doesn't sound corny when he says it though, I swear. It doesn't sound corny when he says it. Anyway, this experience, almost not putting out a video, has also taught me some things about YouTube, content creation, and the kind of videos that I want to make versus the kind of videos that I need to make. First, I learned that I'm actually not a huge fan of lecturing, kind of. I like what I do here, but the issue that I took with the original script, which was trying to analyze Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Gurren Lagann, is that it felt like I was being super uppity and pseudo-intellectual. I feel like it's important to understand FMA's overarching themes of not blindly committing yourself to one belief system, but I couldn't write the script in a way that didn't make me feel like I was talking down to everyone. I don't ever want to be that guy. In the case of FMA though, I kind of blame the content and philosophy of it. It's just really hard to discuss things like science, religion, and how these things can easily be used to manipulate people by clouding their judgment. It's hard to discuss that and not sound like you're on a soapbox, so I don't know. In the future, I will need to dedicate a lot more time than 6 hours on one Saturday. As for Gurren Lagann, I've noticed that I have a lot of young male subscribers, and I really want to discuss one of Gurren Lagann's main themes about finding strength in a community of people that are close to you. I feel like boys and men, myself included, are often taught to romanticize melancholic solitude or the idea of a lone wolf who is strong enough to accomplish everything on his own. I hate to think that there are young men out there who refuse to see the value in a healthy support system that you can lean on when times are tough, or even worse, equating their own manhood to an inability to request help from others or to reach out for comfort when it's needed. So regardless of whether or not I ever finish the FMA script, I am 100% going to talk Gurren Lagann on the channel. Maybe my next episode will be, well, my next Dragon Ball episode. Next Monday's video is already planned, but maybe on my next Dragon Ball episode, I'll dedicate it to how amazingly Gurren Lagann depicts masculinity and defines this idea of being a strong, dependable man. I know those are two things that I always wanted to be, and I still strive to become stronger and more dependable each day. But until that video comes out, just know those two things are not synonymous. You know, being strong and dependable, those two things are not synonymous to bottling up your emotions and refusing to ask for help. If I had refused to ask my family for help when I needed it the most, I would have literally become homeless. I almost committed to living in my car because I thought that as a man, I needed to be able to handle this situation myself. I was weirdly attributing my own level of strength and perseverance to whether or not I could tackle such a dark time in my life on my own. Real strength is knowing when to lean on others. Real strength is admitting that you need help when you need it. You can't be strong all of the time, so it's important to have people in your life who can be strong on your behalf when necessary. Another anime I wanted to discuss at some point was FLCL, or Fooly Cooly, and how it depicts maturity. Everything I know about being calm, cool, and collected I learned from FLCL at a very young age, but for a 6-episode miniseries, I think it's way too dense for a 25 to 30-minute episode. It's something that it would have to be an entire series that we tackle episode by episode. For a literature class, I once wrote an entire 20-ish pages on how it depicts male puberty, and like 3 of those pages alone had to be dedicated to Japanese westernization through Italian modes of transportation and the US introducing electronic music to Japanese pop culture. If you don't know, if that all sounds like a bunch of gibberish to you, trust me, that's why I had to dedicate 3 pages to just that history, which was to lay the foundation of some of the most important symbols and metaphors in Fooly Cooly. There's just so much in FLCL, and I'm super surprised I haven't been able to find a master's thesis anywhere online that tackles the script line for line or something. If you know of a really good analytical essay that tackles FLCL and everything it has to cover, definitely, please, I'm begging you, connect with me, because I want to read it so bad. I've read so much on FLCL and I could read so much more. So anyway, let me know down in the comments what other anime I should talk about in the future, specifically ones focused on personal and or professional development. Let me know what anime inspired you. I will likely be talking about things outside of anime as well. With the younger male demographic being a part of my audience, I think it's important to discuss some of the most misunderstood man media out there. Fight Club is a personal favorite of mine, and I hate how Tyler Durden is romanticized and how other men misinterpret Fight Club as some anti-capitalism piece. I also want to talk about Scott Pilgrim because I feel like way too many dudes immediately identify with Scott in the early parts of the narrative, unironically. I mean, the dude is a jobless, womanizing bum who mooches off of his supposed best friend while dating a girl in high school. The entire point of the narrative is that it's his own fault he can't create a better life for himself or keep a stable relationship. Please, never identify with a dude who refuses to take any adult responsibility. And if you're like, but I identify with him because I had the same problems and I had to learn the same lessons, please lead with that, especially when you're talking to women. And also clarify that you didn't date a high school girl in your 20s. Please. I actually had a few female friends in college who expressed that dudes identifying with Scott Pilgrim gave them the ick, and rightfully so. Also, I am talking strictly about the books. The movie is good, but it doesn't have time to fully explore Scott and Ramona's flaws. There's a lot of good lessons in their stories, especially when you read it with the understanding that they are both not the greatest people. But I just feel like, how long is the film? I think the uncut version is only a little over 2 hours, if that. It's just not anywhere near enough time to fully explore Scott and Ramona and all of the different themes and lessons in the book. But for now, next week's video is already planned. Be sure to tune in and watch us open every One Piece super pre-release starter deck. I'm going to not only show you the cards, but also give you some general tips and tricks in case you have a super pre-release event or tournament to go to. I unfortunately lost my first super pre-release, which, as we spoke about in this video, helped me to learn a lot about what I should have been doing and what I shouldn't have been doing. If you like the Dragon Ball card game, obviously you're watching this video, then you're gonna love the One Piece card game. It's so much fun and very similar to Dragon Ball. I highly recommend using the Bandai TCG Plus app to find some local One Piece events in your area. If not, if for some reason you can't, it could be too late, I don't know. You should be able to find some tournaments and other pre-release events in January or February, because that's when the game releases officially. But these cards have a gold foil super pre-release stamp. I wonder how much different the launch decks are going to be, like when the game officially launches. Because I know there was a lot of confusion with how some of the cards were worded at the event that I went to. I think these decks are going to see some changes prior to the actual release of the game. Yeah, and that's it. That's it for the unscripted part of the video. Man, I thought I really had a formula down packed. Like when I talked about the 7 to 8 pages at the beginning of this video, that's true. But I forgot that this box has like a few more packs than like a standard box, because we got the like premium cards. This is the unscripted part of the video. That's why I'm doing a lot of like ums and uhs and uhs. I've been writing all day, so my brain is like, it's mush. But anyway, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Brandon Bell. Like I said, I didn't just put him in the script to plug his YouTube channel. You guys should really go check him out. He's an awesome fighter too. Definitely go check out some of his KO highlights. And also be sure to watch his videos where both him and his daughter open entire boxes of Dragon Ball Super cards. It's really like heartwarming and fun to watch. I really do look forward to those videos. Brandon, if you're out there watching, I know you probably are. You usually leave a comment. But yeah, that is it for this video. I'm just trying so hard to fill space because I forgot about all the other packs. I wrote the 7 pages and I was like, cool, done. And then I started recording and I saw that the timer was nowhere near the 30-minute mark. So anyway, thanks for putting up with my rambling. I guess for the last like couple of minutes, just listen to the music and see what cards we pull. I was actually very surprised that it looks like we got more secret rares and super rares in this box than you do a typical booster box. I mean, I think though that the likelihood of pulling those cards is almost exactly the same, if I remember correctly. Someone correct me in the comments about like what are the ratios, like what are the pull rates between the premium packs and like an actual booster box, because I think the premium packs are the same, if not a little bit less, because like the random number generator is resetting every 4 packs, because you only get 4 packs per like little box. So I don't know. I suck at math. I suck at probability. I'm sure somebody out there has written a wiki page on it, and they are definitely more qualified than myself to speak to it. But either way, I got 2 Gohans. Oh wait, I don't think I pulled those yet. I don't have the video playing in front of me. I don't think I pulled the Gohans yet, but I got 2 Gohans, and it's awesome. I love them. I love them both. I'm gonna keep them both. I'm gonna put them in my Dragon Ball Super card folio. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stick around until the end of the video and check out some of my other videos. And let me know in the comments, you know, are there any trading card games that you want to see? We're probably going to be doing some more Pokemon here on the channel. And we're probably going to be doing a little bit less MetaZoo. So let me know if you're someone who wants more Pokemon or more MetaZoo, because I typically put out videos that directly reflect what people say in my comment section. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.